So hello everyone and welcome back down to the plots. Today I'm doing some work on plot 64. You might remember from the last plot tour I'd removed the pallet collars and the weed membrane and wood chips from the front portion of plot 64. So today I'm going to be getting that ready for this year's planting. So today I've already been down here with the rotavator and a rake, and I have completely cleared this front portion of the plot. It was looking a bit overgrown and unruly before I took all the pallet collars away. I'm still going to use pallet collars, but my plan this time is not to weed membrane and fill with wood chip. I'd love to do that, but we don't have the access to wood chip that we used to, so there's no chance of getting it covered without, buying lots of wood chip to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pallet collars in probably a different formation this time, and then I'm going to grass in between all of them. There's a little bit of upkeep for that because I have to keep coming down and lawn mowing, but I'd much rather that than try and have to pull weeds out of weed membrane and wood chips. So I'm going to have a play around, see where I want all of these pallet collars, and then I'm also going to do a kind of buried tower of pallet collars to put my Jerusalem artichokes in. I've tried growing them in pots before, they didn't do particularly well, but if you put them in the ground and they're not kind of enclosed, then you end up with them spreading everywhere. So I'm going to have a play around with the pallet collars and I'll come back to you afterwards. So here we go, I've worked out some rough positioning. Although it looks like there's less pallet collars than there used to be, there is in fact more, I believe, because we have got 24 pallet collars here, where we used to have 20. So we've gained an extra 4. And what we have got is a wide space in between every set of pallet collars, which will be equal. That is wide enough for the lawnmower to get down, which is a mistake that I've made on the other plot before. Now, there's a big gap at the front. My plan is to do a narrow flower bed, just to add some colour to the plot. And similarly at the back, over here, I want to add, again, 2 flower beds. I'm going to put an archway in the middle with some climbing, say probably clematis or something like that, just to make it look nice. Now, as I mentioned, I was going to dig a kind of a submerged Jerusalem artichoke bed. This is what I've gone for. So it's going to give them a bit of room to spread downwards. Hopefully that's deep enough, but we'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to get to work filling this in and work out what the plan is from there. So here we go, there's that bed. It's about 3/4 full now. And what I've got here is some Jerusalem artichoke, not seed potatoes, but seed Jerusalem artichokes to put in here. 4 of these, and I think they cost me £1 each, reduced the other day. And I love a bargain, so I'll pop those in and get those covered over. And there we go, there's the finished article. We've topped that up. We've put the Jerusalem artichokes in, topped it up and given it a really good water as well. What we can always do, sometimes when they're fairly small plants, they can be affected by the wind. Because of the design of this, we can always just add additional pallet collars just whilst they're growing to protect them from the wind. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with the kind of underground pallet collar, whether they manage to get under and around there, and see what happens. Right, and as you can see, I have got one of these sets of 4 beds now in situ how I'd like it. It's not entirely level, but I think because the wood on these is slightly warped, makes it very difficult. But what I've managed to do is dig down probably about half the depth of the pallet collar. I've then attached the 4 pallet collars together and then filled in around them and used a saw that was dug out to fill them. And there's just enough room for some compost on top of these as well. So I think my plan is to do this with all of these sets of beds, and then I can start planting out on this part of the allotment. And then once that's done, I'll be able to grass all around all of these as well, and of course get my flower beds in at the front and in at the back. I think this is going to look quite nice when it's done. Hopefully be a little less hard work and maintenance when it is completed. And what I can do every winter, or when beds are not going to be in use, is I'll cut some sections of weed membrane, which I will then use to cover the empty or overwintering beds. So that's it from me for today. I've been up here a few hours. You'll have seen another video that I planted my potatoes. That was all done today as well. And it's getting quite hot down here now. I've been down here for probably about 5 hours, so I am going to head home and get some stuff done there. So thank you for watching. Take care. Happy allotmenting.